Italians elsewhere, it's just as relevant and intimate to the view of Italy on those who left Italy as it is to the view of a certain aspect of Italy to those places that a past government in Italy had tried to colonialize. Colonialism is a term that very few of you present here know that I've used with regard to Italian American history, and I think we need to look at the analogs of these various events and try to put together that larger puzzle of what it means to be Italian, what it means to have relationships with Italy, both then and now. And so, without continuing and boring you, I will give the microphone over to Andrea Fiano.
Well, thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Natalia. And welcome to this event taking place as part of the Giorno della Memoria 2013. As it was said, but I think it's worth repeating, these events were sponsored by the Centro Primo of New York and the Calandra Institute at CUNY, together with the Consulate General of Italy in New York, the Italian Cultural Institute, NYU Casa Italiana Zeri Marimò, Italian Academy, Columbia University. Today's program is also presented in collaboration with the Global Alliance for Justice, the Ethiopian cause. So, honoring war criminals, the monument to Rodolfo Graziani. This is for us an opportunity to look into recent Italian history, but also a memory of others, of what is remembered and what is forgotten about recent Italian history. Memory of others, as in the case of the memory of the victims of some of the actions of the Italian army in Africa. But memory of the others also as in the memory of Italian neo-fascists and sympathizers that remember about Graziani in Ethiopia what they want and omit all the rest. The use of chemical weapons in 1935, the mass deportation of 100,000 Ethiopians, the murder of 1,400 priests, and so on. And they try to rehabilitate Graziani and others, rewriting the history of what they have done. And I would add that the issue of memory, selective or partial memory, and collective amnesia, together with active revisionism of Italian history, in particular concerning the role of Mussolini's fascist regime, is a serious current issue. No later than last Sunday, a former Prime Minister of Italy, currently running in the upcoming political elections, mentioned that besides the horrible racial laws against the Jews, fascism did also good things. He chose to speak at the inauguration of a memorial for the victim of the Holocaust in Milan, main train station. And he confirmed what many of us have felt for a while. Many in Italy have chosen to forget, or not to know what fascism has been and has been. And this makes the memory, or better, the narration and the study of what happened in those terrible years of dictatorship even more important and necessary. And memory means also confronting one's past and confronting the actions of any country, be it the US or Italy. We are not here today to talk about the murder of Giacomo Matteotti or the brothers Rosselli, Nello and Cano, all killed by fascists and their allies before the racial laws, but about the colonial war that took place in 1935, again, well before the racial laws of 1938. The decision to build a memorial to Rodolfo Graziani, the commander of Italian troops in Ethiopia and Libya, in the small town of Affile near Rome, with funding provided in part by the region of Lazio, created last summer a national uproar. The uproar was about the idea of celebrating a convicted war criminal, even though Graziani was convicted not for his action in Africa, but for his role in the Repubblica Italiana di Salò, the puppet fascist regime allied of Nazi Germany. The uproar was about the public funding of the memorial, but also about the choice to honor a very controversial key leader of fascism, known for the massacre of civilian population in Africa, and the first use of chemical weapons. Today we are looking at the recent history, at the recent story with a different angle, trying to understand and remember what did really happen in Ethiopia and who was Graziani. And let me add a little personal note. As the son of an Auschwitz survivor, arrested and deported by Italy and by Italians, I often feel in the day of memory, or in the week of memory, or in the month of memory, whatever you want to call it, a certain kind of uneasiness. I think that many people in my condition do not need a day of memory. Memory is there, day and night. Now, I also don't need for people to commiserate me or my family or my relatives on the day of memory. And when I look at this audience, and the many Ethiopians, I presume, who are here tonight, I feel a certain relief. Because this whole issue of the Holocaust and massacres and dictatorship and fascism, this is not the issue just of the victims, of some of the victims. It is the issue of a civil society. And we see in these days that Italians are forgetting about it, or many Italians are forgetting about it. People that were born in those days or people that were born after. So the wider the message, the more we understand the value of what we are talking about, the more this all makes sense. Otherwise, for celebration, rhetorics, I don't know that there is much need for it. Having said this, today's format is pretty simple. Lidia Santarelli of Brown University will give us the historical context of the Italian campaign in Africa and of the role of Graziani. Dr. Girma Abebe will present his memories as an eyewitness of those tragic events. And Yemane Demissie of NYU will present some of his interviews with survivors of those days. I will introduce each one of them just before they speak. We will have then some time for discussion among the speakers and hopefully some time for question by the audience. We will provide some index cards so that you can write your questions, which will give us more time to answer them and debate even further. Thank you.